Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your patience. I was having some technical difficulties this morning, and I had to remedy that. So I appreciate you waiting for a few minutes. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. If you are connecting with me from wherever you are, go ahead and mention it in the chat. Let me know where you're coming to me from. I would love to know how far we're reaching on this Self-Care Sunday and want to hold space for you. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to put my glasses on to read a little bit while we're sitting here. And just want to connect with you. And I saw a couple people sitting in the chat waiting. So I want to make sure that we are holding space for all those who want to be here. All right. I'm going to give it just a couple seconds, and then we will go from there. All righty. YouTube Live is a tricky little situation. I'm enjoying it, but let's see what we got going on here. All right. So today is kind of an interesting topic, and it kind of came into my space. Things are kind of falling into, aren't they? Things just happen, and we connect with them in different ways. But I want to start out by saying that for anyone who is aware of the topic that I'm doing and might be facing a loss or still dealing with the grief of a loss or any upset that you might be confronted with right now. And loss can mean many different things, right? Loss could be a loved one or someone close to you that has left this space, this plane. It could be a relationship. It could be a feeling, really. And we go through that on many levels. But where I want to truly focus on today is the loss of a loved one. We're hearing a lot of different topics coming up right now. I actually just was doing a couple TikToks on this topic because this week I lost somebody close to me. And that was something I knew was coming because they were older. And as the people we love get older, we are more aware that this is probably the next step in their journey, but it's never easy. It is never easy. And I think what I wanted to talk about today is how we can manage not only the letting go and the grief, but also the celebration of their life. And while they're here, we're able to hold space for them and show comfort and support. And where we need to grieve, and grieving happens before the loss even happens, truly, because our mind tends to go to that place. Our brain loves to go to some kind of thought when there is uncertainty. If there is uncertainty in our lives, it is more likely that your brain is going to choose something to attach itself to because it does not like sitting in uncertainty. That lovely Amy, the amygdala, loves to go there because it's fight or flight, right? So finding something to gravitate to and grab onto, whether it's sadness or depression or loneliness or the anger, all the emotions we do go through with grief tend to really hit us even before the loss happens. And for me, I was very much at peace with the loss that I faced in my life this past week, even as recently as the loss of my stepfather 6-7 months ago. I knew it was coming, which is different from how grief can affect us when it's sudden. But even if you know it's coming, even if you are aware that somebody is on that path, in palliative care and hospice care, or just knowing that they're getting older and that is the next step, it's still difficult to deal with on so many levels. So what I want to do is talk about a couple things today, because for me, when I heard the news just as recently as Friday that I'd lost this person that was dear to me, my mind went to a number of places, one of which was thinking about the good times I had with them, the laughter, the moments, the the good experiences. And, we hear about that a lot when there are funerals, when there are memorials, that there are also celebrations of life, right? And celebrations of life can be very cathartic, allow you to laugh with the other people that are around you and really be part of the journey that that person was on with you. How beautiful is that, that they were with that journey with you? You were part of their journey for an amount of time. You shared that space with them. What a beautiful thought to think about that. So, if you are in a space where there's somebody who's not healthy around you, that is not doing as well, is in that latter part of their life, however old they are, by the way, I don't just mean the elderly or mature adults. I mean, there could be sickness that you could be facing for somebody who's even younger. But wherever they are on that journey, taking a moment to sit with them and reflect with them and think about truly the time that you have with them, you still have with them, is so beautiful to be able to know that you are a beautiful sentient being and so are they, and you've been able to come together in this time. Because in my personal opinion, I believe that this isn't the only time we have, that we can reconnect with people, that we even potentially live with the same beings in different ways through many lifetimes. And whatever your belief is, it's exactly what it needs to be for you. And I respect that and I hold space for that. That's just my thought. And I think that gives me peace when I think about loss. Uh, when I lost my dad 20 years ago, sometimes it still feels like yesterday. And I had a beautiful conversation with my brother recently that I mentioned on my podcast, HIListically Speaking, probably about a month or so ago when my dad's 20th anniversary of his passing came up. And my brother and I were talking, and he said, Hill, it's have you ever thought of it as dad is with us in many lifetimes? That maybe somebody was born within the last 20 years and look around you because you could see dad's eyes through somebody new. And boy, did that hit me. And I found myself looking around and everybody under the age of 20 thinking, is that dad? Is that dad? And there's a peace in that because it just says that we're all connected, right? We're all connected in some way. And we're all part of this bigger picture. So that always brings me peace when I think about that because I think, wow, my dad has been gone 20 years. Sometimes it feels like it was yesterday. Sometimes it feels like it was 20 years. And sometimes that's even more difficult. And when I think and I look around and I see people who are less than 20 years, how beautiful of a thought that is that my father could have come back as somebody else. And do I see little things about that person that were in my father, right? And then it just it causes me to send out more love and more love and more love because I think anybody on this planet could have been my dad. Anybody older could have been my grandpa who's passed. So it's kind of like a theory, like we're all connected. We're all connected. We're all connected. And that I think gives us the space to send out more love. And like I said, if that's not what you believe in, if that's not your theory, your thought on death, believe whatever brings you joy and happiness and peace when somebody close to you is no longer here. For me, when I thought about the passing, I instantly went to those thoughts of those good times. And sometimes that is very difficult. I can understand that because you're living in the grief, and grief is something you have to go through. There are a number of steps. They're essential for your healing. And it doesn't mean that you have to be done with it by a certain time either. because death is your process. It is a process, but it is your process. And it's very common sometimes that you block people out. You shut people off. You go insular. You need people. You're angry. You're sad. You're feeling so many feelings, and sometimes it's very difficult to know how to process. So what I thought we would do today in talking about grief and how to manage grief and the loss of a loved one, or the projected loss of a loved one, because, we just recently heard about Bruce Willis, a young 60-something-year-old facing dementia. And there's a slow loss happening right there. I know that. I experienced it with my stepfather. I saw that with my grandparents. They were older, yes, but to the thought of losing somebody around that age, which would be my brother, is around the same age, to that slow death of the mind, that cognitive part that connects you with somebody so dearly. It made me think about it even more, because it's not necessarily someone is physically on that journey and passing. It could be cognitively, and to not be able to connect with somebody on that level is also a loss. So what I thought we would do today, and the timing couldn't be any better, because my podcast this week is with Dr. Amy Robbins. She's a psychotherapist. She's also an intuitive, a medium. And we're going to talk about life, death, and the space in between. And that's going to drop on Wednesday, February 22nd. And we're going to talk, we had a beautiful conversation. So I encourage you to tune in, tap in, turn on to that conversation on HIListically Speaking. I'll put everything in the notes of this YouTube live so that you can access it, but we're available on all podcast platforms. We had a beautiful conversation about what death really means. But today, what I want to do for you in the short time we have together is share with you how you can use self-havening to process those moments of loss and death and dying, and realize that, as I say all the time, and many of you who know me and have connected with me, whether it's on the YouTube lives or through my social media, through my podcast, those beautiful words by the spiritual leader Ram Dass, we are all just walking each other home. Think about that. We are all just walking each other home. That's one of the most beautiful things I think I've ever heard. And I say it so often because I connect with it so deeply. When you think how connected we are, it is truly a gift to know what you're able to give, right? Give back, receive in that moment when you need it most. So what I want you to do in this time, we're going to just do a short self-havening session. And for those who are out there, have never heard of havening before, this might be your first time joining the YouTube live. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing this morning for your Self-Care Sunday. And I'm going to show you just how it works. So for the self-havening, it's just 3 touches. Let me move my microphone over a little bit. And it is 3 touches. It is like you're washing your hands or giving yourself a hug, which we need more of, right? Or even touching your face, like a lovely massage. And when you do these 3 touches, which you continue doing them, like you're washing your hands, shoulders down to the elbows or on your face. And what I want you to do is just make sure you're in a seated, comfortable position, which I'm sure you are on this beautiful Sunday. Find yourself in that seated, comfortable position. Try to be void of distractions. If you need a moment to go close a door, let people know that you need this time to yourself. I really want you to experience this moment for yourself, okay? So just take that moment and give yourself this moment for peace, this moment for presence, this moment for kindness and love and compassion. And now that you know the 3 havening touches, right? You're going to continue doing this, by the way. And it could be any of all 3 of these. What I want you to do is, if there is somebody in your life that is not as healthy as they could be, maybe you are experiencing the loss, if they are going through that process, if they're in that latter part of their life, if you've just experienced a loss or you're still dealing with the grief of somebody close to you that has passed, bring that one person to mind. And for a brief moment, I want you to think about how it feels to not have them in your life. Just go there for a second and bring that feeling to mind, that feeling of them not being here anymore. Yeah. What does it feel like to know there's a void of that space of them no longer here? Whether they've already passed, what does it feel like when that first feeling came up when you did lose them? Whether they are in that final part of their life and it's kind of hovering there. What does it feel like when that comes to mind? And if you are comfortable with it, I'd like you to put that feeling in the chat. If it's sadness, if it's anger, if it's fear, whatever it is, add that to the chat. Share with me what you're feeling and be open and present with it. But because connecting with that feeling can be very powerful once you see what happens once you do a little self-havening. And if you don't want to, you don't have to do that either. But if you're comfortable sharing that feeling, put it in the chat and then a number that you would associate with it. So the number could be, I'm fine with it. I'm comfortable with it. It doesn't affect me in any way. And your number's a 0, or as I call namaste all day. And if you are feeling a lot of upset or a higher level of any emotion that could be really painful, I want that number to be higher. So I'm seeing a couple people coming through and I want to share. Okay. Sad and 7. Yeah. Very common. Very common. And Una, I feel for you and I understand that feeling. I really do. So thank you for being so genuine and open and honest. Very common. So you're sad. Your number's at a 7. If anyone else wants to share, put it in the comments what you're feeling right now. There's a real power in community when we share together. For me, when I think about that moment, that real moment where I lost my father or even my stepdad, it was disbelief. And I know my number was through the roof. I was probably over a 10. I didn't even know how to process it at that point. But the beauty is that the first thing I was ever self-havened on was the death of my dad 17 years later. And it has never impacted me the same way because I have tools to self-regulate and be able to change the brain. So when you do the self-havening touch and you pair it with a pleasant distraction, that's where the change happens because it releases the oxytocin, the serotonin, the dopamine, the GABA, those happy hormones in the brain. It puts you in a calm delta wave state, which is your sleep state. And then you're able to see things differently, right? The loss is still there. The void is still there, but how you connect to it is going to change for you. And you can feel sadness, but you're going to feel it in a different way. So what I want you to do is I just want you to start the havening process. Remember, it's your hands, your shoulders to your elbows or on your face. And you're just going to continue this process. Don't stop havening. Don't stop it. It could be any of these touches or all 3, whatever's most comfortable to you. And close your eyes from this point on. And what I want you to do is whatever that feeling is that you had, whether it's a sadness, disbelief, upset, anger, whatever it is, whatever that feeling is, I want you to just let it go. Just let it go and bring to mind the most joyful experience that you had with that person that is no longer here with you on this plane, in this space. Think about a beautiful experience, a beautiful time, a beautiful memory that you shared with that person. And I want you to go there. I want you to go there, right? And then we're just going to take a little journey with you and that special person. And if that person's still here and still living, amazing. Find a living experience because they're still here. Remember a joyful time while they're still here and bring that to mind. And what I want you to do is, again, close your eyes, start self-havening. You're no longer thinking about the upset. I want you to think of a beautiful time with that person that person that is either facing the next stage in their experience, which could be death, or they're already gone. Bring that to mind. Close your eyes. And from this point on, let's just go on a little journey. Okay? And I'm going to count to 20. And with each number, I want you to think of one thing within that experience with that person. And if the experience changes, that is okay too. If it takes you to a different place, if it's 20 different experiences, even better. But just find 20 things with that person that brings you joy. Okay? Close your eyes. Let's start. I'm going to just start with 1, feeling calmer and lighter and more connected to that person. 2, feel the space between both of you, the beautiful space that you share. 3, remember to close your eyes. Just self-haven for self-care, for self-love, for self-regulation. 4, what is that person wearing? What are they doing in this moment? What are they telling you? 5, take a deep breath on 5. That's right. And let it go. 6, be mindful, be present, be connected. 7, that's right. 8, 9, you can even sway a little bit. 10, what are you both doing together? What moment are you sharing that brings you joy? Just go with that. A memory. Maybe there's other people around you. 11, that's right. 12, beautiful. 13, deep breaths. Breathe in the air around you. Imagine them taking the deep breaths too while they're in the space with you, just smiling at each other, enjoying each other's company, enjoying each other's space, enjoying each other's space as you share space. How beautiful that is. Yeah. 14, 15, be present. 16, don't be alarmed by any distractions around you. Just be present in this moment. 17, this person that you love so much, give them this respect in this time, wherever they are. 18, 19, and 20. Take a deep breath on 20. And on this breath, on the 20th breath, what I want you to do is just sit in the silence for a moment. Maybe ask them a question. Is there something you want to know? Ask the question and just sit in the silence. Continue to haven. Do the self-havening. What is the question you want to ask them? That's right. Give yourself this moment to ask them that question. Even if they're sitting next to you right now in real life, even if they've crossed over already, in your mind's eye, in your neural garden, that space, that higher self, what is the question you want to ask? And then just sit in the silence for a second and continue to haven. Beautiful. Take a deep breath in. And then what I would love for you to do is, what is a song that comes to mind that reminds you of them? Maybe there's a song. Think about that song for a moment. Maybe hum it to yourself or sing it out loud. Is it a song that they sang to you? Is it a song you sang together? What is that song? So many beautiful songs out there that connect us together as poetry. I have a couple in my head right now. Hum it to yourself. What brings you joy? That song, a song that brings you joy. Maybe it's not even connected to them. Maybe it's just a song that makes you happy. Just hum it, sing it, blast it from the rooftop. That's right. And now what I want you to do is think of the word that's coming to mind right now when you think about the experience with that person that brought you joy. What is the word? What is that beautiful word? I want you to think of that word and just say it out loud. So if the word is peace, if the word is calm, if the word is joy, if the word is comfort, whatever it is, just say it over and over, that word, while you're self-havening with your eyes shut. Say that word over and over. Just say it. Just shout it from the rooftops. What is the word you're feeling right now? Continue to self-haven. Keep your eyes shut. What is that word? Deep breaths. Don't forget to breathe. Beautiful. We are all just walking each other home. There is no beginning. There is no end. We're all just sharing space. So do it well. Do it with love, loving awareness, kindness. If you listened to my Self-Care Sunday last week, we talked about the loving awareness, also Ram Dass, and the beauty that goes with everything in this world is love. We're love, right? Share that in the world. Be present with that. And then with that word that you have, I want you to rest your hands in your lap. Take some deep breaths, some really beautiful deep breaths. And then I want you to, as soon as you can, if you want to, add in the chat where you are now. What's the word you're thinking of? And what's the number? Remember, the higher the number, the more activated you are. The less the number, the more at restful peace you are. So that would be like your namaste all day. Put that in the chat where you are. Share where you are. Good morning, Denisha. Thank you so much for joining. Bliss. Una, you're feeling bliss. So your number would be a 1 probably, right? You mean the opposite, because 0, or 0 rather, 0 would be more of a blissful state, where 10 is a higher, more activated state. So am I reading that correctly? Like your bliss would actually be a 0 or a 1? Go ahead and put that in there. Sometimes that's a little confusing to understand. So what is the space you're in right now? If you're feeling like very peaceful, if you're feeling the bliss, I imagine your number would actually be a lower number. Sometimes that can be a little confusing. Yes. Okay. That's what I thought. So put that in the chat, because you want to declare it. You want to put it out there. If you're feeling bliss, where are you on that number scale? If you're feeling like the self-havening has helped you, what is your number? Bliss, and I don't want to say it for you. So share what that would be. And I'm so, so, so happy that for you, you went from a state of sad to a state of bliss, because that just shows the power that you have in your own hands, what you're able to do for yourself. It's just the most beautiful thing to be able to do that. And let's see, I'm getting some more. Yes, bliss 1, beautiful. Oh, Denisha, I miss you too. I will be there. I will be there, Miss Denisha. I am coming back to our workouts. Don't you worry. I miss you as well. And I want to know, Denisha, I don't know if you joined late, but if you are just joining and you did a little self-havening, because I know you've done it before. I know you've done it before. Thank you so much. If the feeling you were having was more activated, and if you're feeling better, remember the number will be lower, the more connected and more at peace you are. So where are you now, being able to do a little bit of the self-havening together? Where are you? Where are you on that number scale? What's the word that you're feeling right now as you connect? Beautiful. You're in bliss in 1 too. Lots of bliss going on. I love that. Beautiful. That's how easy it is. So my gift to you is that you have the ability to change your thoughts, moods, behaviors, and habits rapidly. Whenever you are feeling the sadness, the grief, the loneliness, the upset that could be connected to the loss of a loved one, remember you have the tools in your hand. that you can be kind to your mind and just find that calming, comfortable space and take a step back, deep breaths, do a little self-havening, right? Face, arms, hands, close your eyes and take yourself to a beautiful place with that person that might not be able to experience it with you in this living world right now. Even if they're still living, but they're not able to do some of the things they used to be doing, and you're feeling the loss of being able to connect with them on that level, take yourself to the most joyful time with them and have that experience and walk yourself from 1 to 20 and experience the good and the joy with them and see what happens when you're able to do that for yourself, because that's empowerment. And if you have somebody who is facing the unknown, facing the uncertainty in their own lives, they can do a little self-havening too. I do this a lot in palliative care with grief, just helping people who are fearing death. If you're fearing death, this is a beautiful approach, beautiful neuroscience-based modality that can help you calm yourself, right? I'm safe, all is well. Everything is happening for the highest good, right? I am safe. I am safe. I am protected. I am loved. I am so beautifully protected. Whenever that feeling comes to mind, you can do that as well. Okay. And remember, this week on the HIListically Speaking Podcast, we will be talking about this deeper with my friend, Dr. Amy Robbins. She is a psychotherapist. She's a medium and intuitive. And we're going to talk about death, life, death, and that space in between. So join me. And thank you for joining me today on this Self-Care Sunday. I look forward to seeing you next week at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Be good to yourself. Be good to the people around you. And we're all just walking each other home. I have to leave you with that because it's so true. Sending you love and light in healing, understanding, and gratitude. Be well. Namaste.